Hello, my people. Welcome yet again to another adventure by Little Safaris. This being episode 3 of our series of our Nairobi to Dar road trip series. So right now we are in Dar es Salaam and we are just leaving Dar es Salaam, heading to Diani. Then tomorrow morning we'll leave for Nairobi. This is one of the most interesting road trips I've done personally, and I'm saying this because you see how other road trips you leave home, you go to your destination, and then you come back using the same route. This one is totally different. For this trip, we left Nairobi, went to our destination which was Dar es Salaam, and then came back to Nairobi, but we never used the same route. So you see, everything that you see on the road is just a new experience throughout the journey. So the journey is interesting from the beginning to the end. That's why I would really highly recommend you to do this trip. And apart from that, the roads are so good. The scenery along the way is so amazing. You will get to see a very beautiful view of Mount Kilimanjaro. Also along the way, you will see a lot of hilly terrain which looks so beautiful, and natural vegetation which looks so very beautiful. Also, if you are lucky enough, you will meet some wildlife. For us, we met an elephant, so you can meet zebras and antelopes if you are lucky enough. Also, as you pass along the coastline, especially around Tanga area in Tanzania, you will see a very beautiful view of the Indian Ocean. Yeah. So there's so much to explore on this trip, and it's going to leave you with lasting memories and stories to tell. Yeah, so nimeongea sana, naona giza imeisha, so let's take some views. So as you can see, we are approaching a junction right ahead of us. Yeah, the right side of the highway takes you to Tanga, Moshi, Arusha, and the left side takes you to Chalinze. Actually, when you go to Chalinze, there's another junction that will take you back to Dar es Salaam, but it's a longer route. So this route that we are using was actually a shortcut, but both the routes go back to Dar es Salaam. Alright guys, just a few meters ahead of us, we are going to see the new Wami River Bridge. It's right over there, you can see it right over there. And guys, let me tell you, this was one of the most spectacular sights I saw along this trip. Apart from the Kilimanjaro, this was the most amazing scene I saw. And it just shows how human ingenuity blends so well with nature. This bridge is just a piece of engineering right in the middle of nature. You see, honestly, we had all the intentions of pulling over for a few photos, but the weather that morning was so chilly and we just decided to let it go. So we just admired the view from the comfort of our car. So we are heading to Segera, where we'll meet a junction that branches off to Tanga, and the other one goes to Moshi. So as we cruise nicely, I just feel like this is the right moment to share what I consider are the biggest lessons that we picked from this trip. And those lessons come as mistakes. There are some mistakes that we did that turned out to be extremely costly in terms of time and money. And right at the top of the list is something so basic, it's so obvious that it's almost embarrassing to admit. Yes, we didn't carry a spare tire. I know guys. Before you crucify me, I already know what you are thinking now. You know, it's one of those mistakes that sounds unbelievable when you hear it, especially on a trip of this distance. I looked back and asked myself, what were we really thinking? Not to carry a spare tire on a journey that is over 1,700 kilometers. Like really, what really happened? Honestly, I don't even have a good excuse. There's nothing I can say to excuse me. But let me just explain why we ended up in this situation. So if you've been following this journey, you already know that the car we used was relatively new. In fact, we had only owned it for a few months before setting off for this adventure. So one of the reasons for taking this trip was to see how this car will perform on long distance drives, different terrains, and thousands of kilometers across East African roads. Now, if you are familiar with newer vehicles, you may already know some modern cars no longer come with traditional spare tires. So instead, the manufacturers provide a tire repair kit, those inflation systems that, they are supposed to act as spare wheel. I don't know how they came up with that, but yeah. So our car is one of those. Okay, that's not me trying to justify what happened, because regardless of that, we had our own responsibility of buying our own tire. But I don't know, we were so excited about this trip. Okay, we just completely overlooked that aspect of carrying a spare tire. Like everything we overlooked was just a silly mistake, and we admit that it was a mistake we did, but thankfully we learned from the mistake. It ended up costing us a lot of money and a lot of time. We spent about 6 hours on the road just waiting for the tire to be fixed. So it was a costly mistake that we are not going to repeat again. So we are somewhere around this point on the map. The highway on the left goes into inland Tanzania. So it goes back to Moshi, Arusha, and it's the route that we've used while coming. And now we are taking the highway on the right, which now follows the coastline, goes to Tanga, then along the coastline into Lunga border, then continues along the coastline into Diani, which is our destination for today. Yo guys, we just arrived in Tanga, a small coastal town in Tanzania. So we want to do a quick lap around Tanga before we proceed to Lunga border. So as we do this lap around here, let me talk about mistake number 2, which was overspeeding. Again, this was a silly mistake. Let me just grab a clip from our previous video that showed this mistake. Here is the clip. There it is. So imagine we are in a foreign country and this is the speed we are going with. Now, if you've been following this road trip series, you will remember that the first episode was probably the most dramatic one. We suffered a flat tire in the middle of a remote area, and that alone caused major delays. But what you didn't see is that the flat tire wasn't the only incident that we experienced on that first episode. So there was another mistake that will cost us a lot of money. Yes, we were caught speeding in a foreign country. So after spending hours dealing with puncture, we were desperate trying to make up for the lost time. You know, we wanted to reach our destination before sunset because we feared that if we had another incident, it will mean maybe sleeping on the side of the road. So we were in a hurry, and then the road was encouraging that because the highway was straight, it was very straight with little traffic. So before we knew it, we found ourselves traveling above 120 kilometers per hour. Now, I'm not trying to justify it. You know, a mistake is just a mistake. But that time it felt like not a mistake because the road was clear, visibility was excellent, you know, and the car was also handling very beautifully. So, as I mentioned, we were doing a road test. So, we just felt like, you know, we could stretch, you know, the limits of this car, the speed, those high speeds because of the good roads. But yo, that was a mistake. Because right in front of us, the Tanzanian police were waiting for us. So they just pulled us over and you know they showed us that we were speeding. Yo, that was a huge mistake. Guys, let me tell you, getting caught speeding is one thing, but getting caught speeding in a foreign country is a completely different experience. We tried to explain ourselves. We tried to mention the delays we had at the border, the delays we had because of the flat tire, but they could not hear any of it. So these officers were very strict, by the way. I don't know it's because we are from Kenya or that's just how they operate. I really don't know about that. But what I know, they were very strict and they just wanted to follow the law and they wanted us to pay the fine for speeding. And do you know the fine for speeding was 10,000 Kenya shillings. So yeah, we parted with another 10,000 Kenya shillings. Minutes after parting with another about 20,000 buying a new tire. Now we are parting with another 10,000 because of overspeeding. Guys, we've just lost 30,000 Kenya shillings so far and the trip is just beginning. And all this is because of very silly mistakes that we would have avoided. So that's another second lesson to learn. It was a mistake, but again, it served as a lesson.
Thank God we are back to Kenya. That has been the ghettos. Guys, now we are going to Kenya. Are you happy?
30 minutes nitakuwa nimemaliza alafu. Ama 20 minutes Oh, yani hata haitaki agent ama nini? Kama kaka agent kushuhudia sawa. Lakini wewe nyumbani.
Wewe umesikia agent akaona pesa. And now we are in Kenya. Bye bye to the.
No, I'm going to get those.
Yo guys, we are officially back in Kenya. Yeah, and we just crossed the Lunga border. Now we are heading to Diani. And by the way, speaking about border, this last incident happened at the border, but not this particular border. It was the Namanga border while crossing to Tanzania. Yeah, so here is the story. Now you see, as we were waiting for our agent to finalize the car documentation, I decided to take a video of the surrounding. Sikujua hiyo kitu itatuingiza kwa ngori. So this guy in civilian akakuja, akaniita kando. Then ananiambia, eti wajua ni hatia kuchukua filamu kwenye majengo ya kiserikali. Yeah, tunaendelea na story, but before we continue, we just arrived in Diani and we are going straight to check in on our Airbnb. Sijalipwa kusema ni wapi, so sisemi ni wapi, but ni hapa. It's this area. By the way, environment is so nice. So beautiful, serene. Cheki, wacha niwatembeze kidogo. Cheki, swimming pool iko hapo. Hakuna mtu, imagine. All to ourselves. Hivi ndio kunakaa nje. Cheki mandhari. So nice, a very nice place. Wakinilipa tawadvertisia. Anyway, yeah. It's by the way, it's about 10:23 AM. Tulitoka huko 4, so we arrived quite early. Now, very good weather ya kuenda swimming. So we are going to the swimming pool kidogo for about 2 hours. Then we go to the beach now for the evening. Tuone sunset. There is a good sunset somewhere here. It's called Congo River. Huku Diani, if you've been to Diani, it's a place called Congo River. A very nice view of the sunset. So we are going there later today. But for now, let's go swimming! Nobody. Ooh, only the kids.
How come you're holding the phone? How come you're holding the phone and you have water?
Let's go to the beach.
Alright, so as we go to the beach, wacha tuendelee na story yetu. Tulikuwa tumefika wapi? So this guy ashaniambia ni makosa kuchukua video. So I agree, nikamwambia okay, let me delete it as you watch, alafu story ishe. Do you know the guy refuses? So he tells me to follow him, akanipeleka ndani ya building inside where there is a police cell. So he hands me over to another officer now in uniform. And now they take me to an interrogation room, wananikalisha hapo. So the cop takes my phone, he starts scrolling through the gallery. Then he leaves without even saying a word. Ananiacha hapo peke yangu. So nashindwa, what's happening? So why is he going out with my phone? Then a few minutes later he comes back and then he starts interrogating me. He asks me why were you filming? So I tell him I am a content creator, so I was just creating content for my YouTube channel. I even offered to show him my channel, but he refused. So he tells me I can't go because I have a case to answer. Again he leaves the room. Mi niko hapo nashindwa ni kesi gani najibu, na I have seen people filming this place. So for the next about 1 hour, this situation just became a game of... I came to realize he was just trying to frustrate me. I knew he wanted some money, but I was not willing to give out. Nikawa jamaa waliona nimekaa ngumu sana, alafu sitetemeki, so nikawa kachoka tu na mimi. So the officer akanirudishia simu, akaniambia ni delete hizo videos. And imagine it was just one video. It was one video that I took. So nika delete hiyo video. Alafu sasa he was trying to act good. So ananiambia sasa because I'm going to Tanzania, now if I get close to a government building, I should not film whatsoever. That's when he now let me go. Yeah, it was so frustrating, by the way. And 1 hour of just waiting, 1 hour of being intimidated. I felt so bad, by the way, for that incident.
So now we are here where the river, this river here, is meeting the ocean here.
Mandhari. Unajua this is the best hotel in Diani, Pascal.
Inashinda Nomad.
Babe, this is the best hotel in Diani. Swahili Beach.
Bro.